Superpowers are fun and quite useful, but sometimes superheroes and villains need a little extra. That little extra is the weapons. On the other hand, when we talk to you about a weapon, we are not talking about a simple knife. These are weapons that have completely crazy capabilities, such as being able to halve the population of a universe or even destroy a planet. In the Marvel Universe, these kinds of weapons are common, and we will see in this video what are the 10 most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe. So stay tuned until the end of the video to find out which is the most powerful weapon in the entire Marvel Universe. Number 10. AntMan Suit. You are probably wondering why a simple costume that makes you very tall or conversely very small is in a video of the top most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe, and we understand you. It may seem silly, but when you know what this costume is capable of, everything becomes different. It wouldn't be fair to make a list of the best Marvel weapons without including the AntMan Suit. After decades of hard work and the loss of his beloved partner and wife to the quantum realm, Hank finally succeeded in creating a suit to maximize the use of Pym particles while protecting its wearer from the side effects of their use. Since that day, Ant-Man has become an essential part of the Marvel Universe and an important part of the Avengers team. The costume consists of a helmet, gloves, pants, and a special belt. It allows to manipulate the size of the garment so that it becomes large and small, and therefore to be able to communicate with the quantum world of the infinitely small. Despite this, the costume is not perfect, and too much shrinkage can still cause considerable damage to the body. Shrinkage and growth are the only characteristics that give the suit superhuman strength and durability. In addition, the costume allows communication with insects through electromagnetic waves. What is certain is that you will not find this costume for sale in a department store. Number 9. Yondus Arrow. The Yondu Arrow is a whistle-controlled arrow made from Yondu metal and using technology unique to the Centurion people. You've probably seen this weapon before in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the weapon of choice for Yondu, the blue guy who shares a strange love-hate relationship with Peter. Even if it doesn't look like much, and especially not a weapon of mass destruction, it is in fact extremely deadly. This weapon is capable of slicing through opponents like butter, and responds to a very specific range of sound frequencies, meaning there are no controls or buttons to control it. It is completely sound controlled. For this weapon to be really powerful, you have to be damn good at whistling. Yondu is a fantastic whistler, but in someone else's hands, this weapon wouldn't be very powerful. In the end, the Yondu Arrow may just be a metal staff created for its owner, but it is still capable of eliminating entire armies in the blink of an eye. Number 8. Captain America's Shield. If this top 10 was a top of the most iconic weapons in Marvel history, then it might have deserved the top spot. However, this is not a popularity contest. We're talking about the most powerful weapons here, and Captain America's shield only comes in 8th. The shield was made by Howard Stark, who made it from the only supply of vibranium the US military had. For those unfamiliar with vibranium, it is stronger than steel. It is the rarest metal on Earth, and it is also used for the Black Panther suit. This shield is downright as iconic as any character. No Captain America set would be complete without the memorable red, white, and blue shield used both as a weapon and as a protective item. During the movie Avengers Endgame, Thanos manages to destroy the shield during the battle. It's a huge shock considering it's made from such a powerful substance that no one has ever destroyed. This shows how powerful Thanos is. However, after the battle, the Avengers were able to obtain another version of the shield by going to an alternate timeline to bring it back to the main timeline. Time travel is still very tricky, and we'll see what the future holds and what the consequences of that act are in the next Avengers movie. Number 7. The Book of Cagliostro. How could a book make it to the list of the most dangerous weapons in the Marvel world? The eye drunk, which belongs to the former's private collection, focuses on the dark side of mysticism and has been fatal to many who have tried to exploit it. Think about it for a second. The Elder, who is probably the most educated person to ever exist in any setting, has a private collection of books that teach things no one else could ever bear to learn. The book appears in the movie Doctor Strange and is used to perform a ritual that contacts Dormammu to draw energy from the Dark Dimension. Of all the places, the Dark Dimension seems like the last place you would want to live. It's no wonder Dormammu is so irritable. Eventually, Doctor Strange manages to use the book. He studies it as if it were a medical textbook and eventually becomes a master of the mystical arts. Thanks to the book, he becomes able to exploit the Time Stone and evolve towards the status of Sorcerer Supreme. Number 6. Iron Man's Armor. With this armor, Tony Stark becomes one of the strongest superheroes to have existed, but also the backbone of the Avengers and one of the most popular characters in the entire Marvel Universe. Iron Man has been a mainstay of Marvel Studios since the very beginning. The movie Iron Man, released in 2008, was the first Iron Man and directly made the character one of the greatest leaders of the Marvel Universe. What is interesting with this weapon is that in the end it is scalable and Tony Stark keeps improving it and inventing new, even crazier and more destructive features. Although Tony Stark is not the only one to wear Iron Man armor, James Rhodes, aka War Machine, is not only one of Iron Man's closest allies, but also the only other hero who can handle this level of power. Yet Iron Man remains the only one able to face the most perilous situations. The question now is, where does Tony Stark find the time to save the world when he is so busy with engineering and manufacturing? The suit offers tons of power, whether it's superhuman strength and survivability, the ability to fly missiles, create a laser beam, do medical sutures, launch coolant, and loads more. On top of that, we're pretty sure the suit has a USB charger, but that's not confirmed by Marvel yet. Number 5. The Chitauri Staff. It all started with the Tesseract, which is a cube that houses one of the 6 Infinity Stones. In the Avengers movie, Loki, Thor's evil brother, gets his hand on the Tesseract and uses it to open a vortex, allowing the Chitauri aliens to escape from New York. After Thanos gives Loki another of the 6 Infinity Stones as a thank you gift for making the invasion go smoothly, Loki adds it. Unfortunately, to be able to endure the power of an Infinity Stone, you have to be extremely powerful, and even if Loki is still, despite his bad sides, someone powerful, he cannot control the power of the stone. This is why he associates it with a scepter in order to be able to exploit its energy while remaining safe. Eventually, the Avengers save the day and the weapon is eventually destroyed afterwards. This powerful weapon didn't last long, but despite its short lifespan, it absolutely deserved a place in this top. Number 4. Stormbreaker. This decision was difficult to make because Thor actually possessed 2 incredibly powerful weapons. The first weapon is none other than Thor's famous hammer, you know, the thing that allows him to fly through space, fire thunderbolts, and crush entire armies with one hand. This hammer can only be carried by a person deemed worthy. Without it, it is completely and totally impossible to move it. This hammer is the height of Captain America's shield and is one of the most powerful and popular Marvel weapons. Even though Thor definitely seems more comfortable with his hammer, it's actually his other weapon that appears in this top 10 of the most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe. After Thor's big sister destroyed her hammer, Thor was left unarmed. Not only was she able to grab the hammer and hold it with her bare hands, but she was also able to destroy it with no apparent effort. Thor, therefore, needed to find a new weapon to become the hero we know again. He then relied on the King of the Dwarves to craft an even better weapon, dubbed the most powerful weapon in the history of Asgard, and forged using the heart of a dying star. That weapon is Stormbreaker. Groot sacrifices his own arm to help complete the weapon and make Stormbreaker even more powerful. If only Thor had used it early on to aim for Thanos' head, we could have saved quite a bit of grief. Number 3. Gangneer. If you thought Thor had powerful weapons, wait until you see the kind of toys his dad has. You don't often see this weapon in the Marvel Universe, but its powers are astronomical. It's basically a magical spear that belongs to the ruler of Asgard. She is the symbol of Asgard and has completely astronomical power. Although both Loki and Thor wielded this weapon in the past, it mostly belonged to their father, Odin. After all, this weapon is powered by the force of Odin. Unfortunately, it is not used as often as we would like, but we hear a lot about its past triumphs. It's more of a symbol and status than anything else, and it's not the most powerful weapon, but if we categorize Marvel weapons by powers, then Gangneer must be a part of the video. Number 2. The Eye of Agamotto. This powerful relic was originally created by Agamotto, the very first Sorcerer Supreme. Although the eye itself is not very important, it is carefully designed to house the Time Stone that lies within. The eye has passed down to the Sorcerer Supremes since the dawn of time and eventually ends up in the hands of Doctor Strange. He has the ability to manipulate the flow of time. Recall how Doctor Strange managed to outsmart the all-powerful Dormammu and trap the evil entity in a frustrating time loop. It may not be the flashiest or even the most destructive weapon, but it is undeniably one of the most powerful. It is similar to the Chitauri Scepter, which allowed Loki to use the Space Stone without having to physically touch it and feel the repercussions. The Time Stone, although technically debatable, is very powerful indeed. Most people agree that being able to control the weather brings much more power and possibility than the Space Stone. In fact, the simple use of this stone creates alternate timelines and breaks the natural flow of time. It sounds dangerous, but we also wouldn't mind having the option to rewind a few things here and there. Number 1. The Infinity Gauntlet. The top one of this video should not surprise you. Without a doubt, the most powerful of Marvel weapons is the Infinity Gauntlet. While some items on this list harness the powers of an Infinity Stone, this weapon harnesses them all. Do you know what the combined power of all the suns in the universe is? Well, this glove is capable of achieving that kind of power. How about wiping out half of life in the universe with the snap of a finger? Yes, it is a much more dangerous weapon than a simple arrow activated by a whistle. The gauntlet itself was originally forged by dwarves, but was eventually assembled by Thanos in Avengers Infinity War when he managed to acquire all 6 Infinity Stones. Not only does it harness the power of the 6 stones, but it allows its wearer to use their powers in unison. The glove is so powerful that if any inferior being, say a human, were to use it, the results could be fatal. When it comes to weapons in the Marvel Universe, there are currently none bigger and more powerful than the Infinity Gauntlet, and if there were, we're not sure to want to know them. So, what do you think of our top 10 most powerful weapons in the Marvel Universe? And what would you do with the Infinity Gauntlet and the power to accomplish almost anything on a whim? Feel free to share your opinion in the comment section below.